My name is Charlize Theron, and you may recognize me from my role as Aileen Wuornos in the movie called Monster, which earned me an Academy Award for Best Actress. The journey to that role and to where I am today has been deeply influenced by profound experiences and the important lessons they taught me. Growing up in South Africa, one of the most defining moments of my life occurred when I was just 15. My father, who struggled with alcoholism, came home one night in a volatile state. He began shooting into the room where my mother and I were hiding. In that moment of sheer terror, I saw my mother shoot him, and I witnessed him dying there. This traumatic event didn't just end my father's life. It dramatically altered the course of my own. Armed with these harsh life lessons, I arrived in Los Angeles, filled with hopes and dreams. However, I quickly encountered the stark realities of Hollywood. Daily rejections became routine because I didn't fit the ideal image of a leading lady in the 90s. Comments about my size and my South African accent were discouraging, and it seemed I was judged more for my appearance than my acting skills. Auditions continued to be challenging, and I remember one where, despite a strong performance, I overheard casting directors mocking my accent afterward. During this challenging time, I also faced significant financial struggles. I vividly remember a day at the bank, unable to cash a desperately needed check because my account was too new. Overwhelmed, I broke down in tears right there in the lobby, an outburst that unexpectedly caught the attention of a talent agent. Moved by my plight, he offered to represent me, leading to my first few roles in the industry. Despite these setbacks, a fire was ignited within me. I refused to let stereotypes box me in. Preparing for Monster, I underwent a dramatic transformation to become Aileen Wuornos, gaining weight and embracing her intense, complex persona. This role challenged the typical Hollywood beauty standards and attracted much criticism. Yet, it was through this role that I changed the very stereotypes that had once confined me. Though it was disheartening, these experiences only steeled my resolve to succeed. Through all these experiences, I've learned the invaluable lesson of embracing my uniqueness. In an industry, and indeed a world, that often values conformity, standing out has become my greatest strength. Oh, by the way, about that tragic night when my father was killed, my mom went on trial, and it was determined. She acted in self-defense. She's okay, and we're still together. That moment, as painful as it was, taught me about the depths of courage and the complexity of justice. My father, who struggled with alcoholism, came home one night in a volatile state. He began shooting into the room where my mother and I were hiding.
In general, the word volatile means something that can change. quickly and unpredictably, often for the worse. It can describe situations, emotions, or substances that are unstable and likely to explode or cause trouble. For example, volatile chemicals can easily catch fire or explode if not handled carefully. Similarly, a volatile person might have sudden and intense mood swings, going from calm to extremely angry in a short period. In financial markets, a volatile stock can see its price fluctuate wildly in a single day, creating uncertainty and risk for investors. In this context of the story, volatile state refers to Charlize Theron's father's unstable and dangerous condition. Due to his alcoholism, it means he was likely to become angry or violent without warning, creating a very dangerous and unpredictable situation for Charlize and her mother.
In that moment of sheer terror, I saw my mother shoot him, and I witnessed him dying there.
Sheer means complete and absolute. It emphasizes the total extent of something. For example, sheer joy means pure and total joy. Terror means extreme fear. It refers to an intense feeling of dread or panic. Sheer terror means complete and overwhelming fear. Sheer terror describes a state of being utterly terrified, where the fear is so intense that it takes over everything.
Armed with these harsh life lessons, I arrived in Los Angeles, filled with hopes and dreams.
Armed with means being equipped or provided with something that helps or supports you. In this context, it doesn't refer to physical weapons, but rather to tools, skills, knowledge, or experiences that prepare someone to face challenges. The word arm is used metaphorically to suggest that these tools or lessons are like weapons or equipment that give you strength or readiness to handle difficult situations. For example, armed with knowledge means having the knowledge that prepares you to deal with something effectively. Here, Charlize Theron is armed with harsh life lessons, meaning she has gained strength and readiness from her difficult experiences to face the challenges ahead.
However, I quickly encountered the stark realities of Hollywood. Daily rejections became routine because I didn't fit the ideal image of a leading lady in the 90s.
Stark means very clear, obvious, and often unpleasant or harsh. It describes something that is bluntly clear and unembellished. Stark realities refer to the harsh and often unpleasant truths or facts about a situation. When someone encounters the stark realities, they are facing the clear, undeniable, and often difficult truths about a particular situation. In the context of her story, stark realities of Hollywood means the harsh truths about the entertainment industry, such as frequent rejections and the high expectations placed on actors' appearances. In the 90s, the leading lady in Hollywood typically referred to the main female actress in a movie or TV show, often characterized by certain physical attributes and an idealized image. Leading ladies were generally expected to fit a particular mold that included being slim, conventionally beautiful, and often having an American accent. This ideal image was heavily influenced by societal standards and media representations at the time. Charlize Theron got judged because she did not fit this ideal image. She faced criticism about her size, which might have differed from the very slim standard of beauty prevalent in the 90s. Additionally, her South African accent made her stand out in an industry that favored American accents for leading roles. Instead of being evaluated purely on her acting skills, she was often judged based on her appearance and accent, which were seen as not fitting the stereotypical expectations of a leading lady in that era. This judgment reflects the industry's narrow and often superficial criteria for female actors during that time.
Auditions continued to be challenging, and I remember one where, despite a strong performance, I overheard casting directors mocking my accent afterward.
Mocking means to imitate or mimic someone in a way that ridicules or makes fun of them. This often involves using a sarcastic tone, exaggerated gestures or facial expressions to belittle or insult the person being mocked. The intent behind mocking is typically to cause humiliation or to convey contempt. Mocking can be particularly hurtful because it not only criticizes, but also often involves an element of public humiliation.
During this challenging time, I also faced significant financial struggles. I vividly remember a day at the bank, unable to cash a desperately needed check because my account was too new.
Unable to cash a desperately needed check because my account was too new. What this means is, in the United States, banks often have strict policies for new accounts to protect against fraud. When you open a new bank account, there are usually restrictions on certain transactions until the account has been active for a while. This means that if you try to cash a check, especially a larger one, the bank might not allow it if your account is very new. The bank needs time to verify that the account holder is legitimate and that there is no suspicious activity. This period is part of the bank's risk management to prevent potential fraudulent activities.
Overwhelmed, I broke down in tears right there in the lobby, an outburst that unexpectedly caught the attention of a talent agent.
Outburst means a sudden and intense expression of emotion, such as anger, joy, or crying. It often happens unexpectedly and can be quite dramatic. For example, if someone has an outburst of laughter, they suddenly start laughing very loudly and uncontrollably. In the context of Charlize Theron's story, her outburst refers to suddenly crying heavily in the bank lobby because she was overwhelmed by her situation.
Moved by my plight, he offered to represent me, leading to my first few roles in the industry.
Plight means a difficult, unfortunate, or distressing situation that is often serious and hard to escape from. It usually involves significant hardship or adversity, and it can elicit sympathy or concern from others. For example, the plight of refugees refers to the challenging and often dangerous conditions they face while fleeing their homes. Here, moved by my plight means feeling sympathy or compassion for someone's difficult situation. When someone is moved by something, it means they are emotionally affected by it. In this context, the talent agent felt compassion for Charlize Theron's difficult situation and decided to help her.
Despite these setbacks, a fire was ignited within me. I refused to let stereotypes box me in.
Stereotypes are oversimplified and fixed ideas or beliefs about a group of people, based on certain characteristics such as race, gender, age, or occupation. These ideas often lead to unfair assumptions that all individuals in the group are the same and ignore their unique qualities and differences. For example, a stereotype might be that all elderly people are weak and frail, which is not true for every elderly person. Many elderly individuals are active, strong, and live very vibrant lives. Stereotypes can limit opportunities and lead to discrimination because they prevent people from being seen as individuals with their own abilities and personalities. This can result in unfair treatment and a lack of opportunities for those who do not fit these narrow and inaccurate generalizations. Box me in means to limit or confine someone to a particular role, set of expectations, or situation, restricting their freedom or potential. It implies that the person is being placed within narrow boundaries that prevent them from exploring other possibilities or expressing their full capabilities. In this story, box me in means to limit or confine Charlize Theron to a specific role or set of expectations based on stereotypes. Hollywood's narrow standards for a leading lady in the 90s, such as being slim, conventionally beautiful, and having an American accent, restricted her opportunities. She refused to let these stereotypes define her or limit her career. She didn't want to be confined to a certain image or role that didn't reflect her true abilities and potential as an actress.
Preparing for Monster, I underwent a dramatic transformation to become Aileen Wuornos, gaining weight and embracing her intense, complex persona.
Underwent means experienced or went through something, often implying a significant or challenging process. It is typically used to describe events or changes that have a considerable impact on a person or thing. For example, he underwent surgery means he experienced the entire process of having a surgical operation, which is a major event. Similarly, the building underwent renovations means the building went through a significant process of being updated or repaired. In this of her story, underwent a dramatic transformation, indicates she experienced a significant and deliberate change, altering her appearance and behavior to convincingly portray Aileen Wuornos in the movie Monster. This transformation involved gaining weight and fully adopting the intense and complex characteristics of the character.
Yet, it was through this role that I changed the very stereotypes that had once confined me. Though it was disheartening, these experiences only steeled my resolve to succeed.
Disheartening means causing someone to lose hope, confidence, or enthusiasm. It refers to something that is discouraging or demoralizing. For example, receiving a lot of rejection letters after job applications can be disheartening because it makes a person feel less optimistic about their chances of success. Steeled my resolve means to strengthen one's determination or commitment to achieve something, especially in the face of difficulties or challenges. It implies becoming mentally stronger and more resolute. For example, if someone says, "The criticism only steeled my resolve to succeed," it means that the negative feedback made them even more determined to achieve their goals. In other words, the challenges she faced while tough ultimately made her more resolute and committed to succeeding.
Through all these experiences, I've learned the invaluable lesson of embracing my uniqueness. In an industry, and indeed a world, that often values conformity, standing out has become my greatest strength.
Conformity means behavior that follows the usual standards, rules, or expectations of a group or society. It involves fitting in and adhering to what is considered normal or acceptable by others. For example, wearing similar clothes, following social norms, and adopting common behaviors are ways people show conformity. In a workplace, it might mean adhering to company policies and procedures. Conformity often involves suppressing one's uniqueness to blend in with the larger group.
Oh, by the way, about that tragic night when my father was killed, my mom went on trial, and it was determined. She acted in self-defense. She's okay, and we're still together.
Self-defense means the act of protecting oneself from harm, using reasonable force. It is a legal defense used when a person takes action to protect themselves from an immediate threat or attack. For example, if someone is physically attacked and they defend themselves to prevent injury, they are acting in self-defense. In legal terms, self-defense justifies the use of force under certain conditions to ensure personal safety. The key elements of self-defense typically include an immediate threat of harm, a reasonable perception of danger, and a proportional response to the threat. In Charlize Theron's story, her mother was found to have acted in self-defense, meaning she used necessary force to protect herself and her daughter from imminent danger.